Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terri Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Halecko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we're going to discuss the Process Stories episode of West Wing Season 4 and both the movie Waitress and its musical version. But first, we are continuing our catching up with The Good Place. This week, we watched episodes 9, 10, and 11, entitled Someone Like Me is a Member, Chitty's Choice, and What's My Motivation? Catherine, do you have a good way to sum up each of those episodes, or were you counting on me to do that this week? I wrote down the descriptions from Netflix. Let's see if they're at all helpful in jogging our memories, because I still have a problem since these are so... it seems like the last scene of one feeds into the next. And so when you're watching them on Netflix, just flowing one into the other, it's really hard, as I've said before, to think of them as individual episodes. I just felt like I just watched an hour and a half of a show. So it says here that episode 9, Someone Like Me as a Member, Michael has difficulty negotiating for Eleanor's fate. The bad place demons misbehave at Tahani's house, and Chitty bonds with the other Eleanor. In episode 10, Chitty's Choice, Michael is frustrated by Chitty's indecisiveness. Oh boy, was that fun. I remember that bit. Eleanor discovers feelings she didn't realize she had, as did Tahani, I believe. And Jianyu makes a surprising announcement. And in episode 11, which is What's My Motivation? Eleanor tries to improve her score before the judge arrives. Michael makes a surprising discovery, and Chitty asks Eleanor for advice about love. Now, they should be saying real Eleanor and fake Eleanor.
Right. They're pretty but I think in all those cases, it's real Eleanor, or it's fake Eleanor.
They say the other Eleanor, so.
Yeah.
But she is a real Eleanor.
I know, and it's like a running thing how
funny.
Like, you don't have to call me that.
That is really funny.
I know, I thought they could call her like blonde Eleanor.
Or Good Place Eleanor and Bad Place Eleanor, but they've been in the reverse things.
Right.
So these were 3 fun episodes. I enjoyed the unexpected romance of Jason and Janet.
Yes.
I love her just constant cheerful line readings of just everything, you know?
Right, no matter what she's
I'm not a girl. Okay.
I'm not a human.
Very funny. So I guess her booting up, which was at the baby stage when she was giving cactus for everything, is now at the teenage stage where she's running away with a boy. But
yes. A very inappropriate boy.
That's right.
Named Jason Mendoza.
Yeah.
And I forget in which one of these 3, of course, we get to see his backstory of how he died from trying to rob a restaurant by being locked in a safe. And then they were going to fill the safe with money and then steal the safe again. Sounds like a plan, guys.
Yep. And he suffocated inside the safe. He had a snorkel with him, but apparently not outside the safe.
Right.
Yes.
And also his plan with his buddy was that they would marry each other so they wouldn't have to testify against each other.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it until... they didn't do it in advance. Right. They figured they would do it if and when it became necessary.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the very dimmest of dim bulbs, but still really funny and kind of adorable in a horrifying way. It's very, very innocent and open to the universe, I guess. But poor Tahani, she figures it out.
Right, and then she's just disgusted by what she's been saddled with as her soulmate.
A poster of Ariana Grande on the wall, which she talks to.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very fun. I liked that whole plot. And the whole thing with Chitty's indecisiveness. All his flashbacks, he filibustered recess.
Right. And then that's actually sort of how he died, was because he touched the air, like while he was dithering about something, he like touched the air conditioner or messed with it in some way, and then it fell out of the window when he was standing outside and
being unsure where to go next.
Right,
man.
Right. His friend was very patient.
Yes, he was. He was very sweet, but man, that would drive you crazy. And did indeed drive Michael crazy. You couldn't even decide, do you want to use a pan or a dry erase? Then he goes off for an hour on that.
So good.
Very fun. All of it very fun. And so now they're off to the medium place. And having hijacked the judge's train. Something
that Eleanor had been advocating for a while.
Right.
Like, isn't there a medium place? Like, yes.
Yes, because the bad place people are awful.
They really are terrible, even though it's Adam Scott and he's very fun to watch.
Continuing of Adam Scott, yes, just having a ball.
Yes. And, why shouldn't he? I mean, I feel like they're all... They all are, but his is particularly...
Yeah. Just calling her all sorts of names and saying terrible things about everybody.
And in the beginning of the first one of the ones we're talking about, episode 9, Eleanor is hungover. Yeah. And she's just like, I thought that didn't happen here. And Chidi says, oh yeah, what's his name? Yeah. Trevor requested that filter be removed or turned off or something. Like they have a filter that prevents hangovers. Oh, it's so good. I mean, they just think of everything.
It really is very fun.
It's and impressive.
Creative.
They come up, right?
Yes. And good Eleanor is so good. And yet I think we will find chinks in her armor also, because it seeming more and more clear that even the good people aren't really that good.
Right. Right. So we'll have to see. I
mean, if they were all that good and noble, wouldn't they forgive Eleanor? If they were the people that they're supposed to be, you get a lot of points for forgiving somebody, I would think. But they seem to be quite put out that she inconvenienced them. There's one woman, a turkey exploded all over her, and the other one is like, my dog got kicked into the sun.
Right.
So we're moving quickly along to the end of this very short season.
Yes.
And actually, there's 2 more episodes for the season, which we will watch next week. And
so that's going to be our plan.
Spoiled as we are, we have some idea that things are going to come to an interesting spot with the good place. But anything else you want to say about these 3 episodes?
I don't think so.
All right, well then.
I'm excited to keep going.
Yes, I am too. I'm really so happy we decided to do this because I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch. I really look forward to that. My little blob of the good place. Undifferentiated, one into the other blob of the good place. All right, so next up, we are going to talk about The West Wing. Yay, it's back. After we took a week off because the West Wing Weekly people took a week off, we are now watching Process Stories, which is really more or less part 2 of Election Night. It picks up from pretty much exactly the same place. It continues into the evening with, sort of continuing some of the earlier threads, and ends with Sam deciding to run for the seat he foolishly promised a widow he would do.
Promised he would run
since it was quite obvious that never going to happen, and then it did. I thought that was a nice turn where at first they're all sort of, what did you do? Right. And then, one by one they kind of come around that there might be some good to it. And him too, he's the one who really says it. So,
I mean, you have to think that somewhere deep down he did want to do it. Otherwise,
yes, subconsciously,
he never would have even come up with the idea, right?
Yes, yes. And still, a confluence of events that would only happen to him. So,
right.
It was very fun.
Aristotelian or whatever.
Even though the West Wing Weekly argued that they've got their philosophers wrong. Still, it was fun listening to him say it.
Yes.
And just be so chagrined. I love when you go sit to CJ's office and the 3 of them are sitting there. I think Sam asked if it was the House of the Rising Sun, and then later on, everybody was in there singing the House of the Rising Sun. Just a song I used to sing a lot when I was a kid. It was good for when you were learning the guitar because there was like 3 chords. So
there you go.
Brings back memories, that song does. But what the heck did she have it done with, like, pink things over everything?
I know, like scarves over all the lamps and candles and lava lamps. And I don't know what else. But whatever floats your boat.
That's
on
right.
this particular day, because they won.
They won. I love that scene where Toby goes to talk to Andy and she keeps going, Maryland! And everybody else, Maryland. She is like so completely in charge of herself and what's going on and him and just all powerful in that place at that
just
moment.
Really enjoying it for as long as it may last.
Yes, reveling in it a little. So that was a fun scene. She just keeps playing with him.
Mm-hmm. We had all of the interruptions that the president had to endure.
Yes.
And, but then there was all that nice stuff with Leo and Jordan. So that's why they had Joanna Gleason.
Yeah. I like them so much. That was sweet. But there was a lot of interruptions. And I'm watching this going, I love this episode. I loved it when I watched it. I love it now. But in light of like the past couple of weeks, are we allowed to enjoy watching all these guys hitting on women at the workplace? Somehow, I don't know. Has the permission been taken away to feel that that's fun to watch? You know?
Right.
Is Bruno Gianelli a predator or is he just a guy who did a good job and would like to get... Well, I won't say it, but would like to accept the rest of his payment now. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
Josh running when he hears that the busload of Democratic women has arrived.
Right. Women. All of a sudden they're here. Okay.
I always love that. I don't know if this line has ever been used anywhere else, but I've stuck it in my head from this episode where Amy says, I know this is a target-rich environment for you.
Right. And I enjoyed Amy in this as sort of like one of the gang and kind of, friendly with she's just part of the crew and she's friends with everybody and they're all kind of interested in what she has to say and she's got like bets with every single person on the staff.
That's hilarious. All the bets.
Every ballot initiative and school board race from East Coast to West. So that was quite a lot of fun.
Yes, that was very fun. That little inside stuff there. And I enjoyed CJ being so upset about this loser pretending like he was an inner circle guy. And
right. I'd like to know how he even got into the party. Like,
And, she finally, even though Bruno won't let her make a big deal. And I like that about Bruno too, that he's like, it's over. I don't care. Right. But she finds a way to just kind of put him in his place. And he knows he's been put. So. Yeah,
he is quite ashamed of himself as he should be.
Do not disrespect Leo McGarry and Bruno Gianelli. Good advice.
As soon as CJ started talking to him, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Can't wait. See what she said.
Whoops. Yes, that was well done by her. So, and then we have Christian Slater settling in.
That's right. For a moment, I thought he was going to be in the steam trunk pipe distribution venue.
It looked not too far off from that, actually.
Yeah.
It didn't look like real class digs.
But then I agreed with the West Wing Weekly podcast when they're like, it's like his first day on the job and his first night, and he's sure, I'll go to that party.
Well, it's because she's blonde.
And after Leo had given him like 20 minutes to
Well, I think we're supposed to believe he's already done that.
He's done that.
I think that was supposed to be he was going back to his office after that, although where was he when he was doing it? Why wasn't he in his office then? It's very confusing. Right. But I don't think we're supposed to think he's going to the party when he has 20 minutes to do this 3-hour job. Right. That would be bad. I
certainly hope not.
But that's another one here, he's admitting that he's befuzzled by a person who works, a woman in his workplace who he barely knows, and it's all less fun than it was in season 4. One has to look at it with these goggles now. Is that appropriate?
That's right.
And give us the $400 for the ashtray now, sir, please.
Although that was news to me, the whole thing about how it's...
That was interesting, though.
Or whatever. Yeah.
You know what? It makes sense. Although then I have to think, why are you smoking in a submarine?
Yeah,
why is there an ashtray at all?
Here's my next question.
Is that even safe?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But, you know, there may
not to be encouraged in any way.
I would think that would be a bad idea all around. And then you wouldn't need the ashtray at all. No. But, yeah, well, there he is. Love interest for Donna, briefly. Mm-hmm. I won't spoil too much, but I think that my appreciation of these early episodes of his are colored by the way the plot line kind of petered out. So, and how sad that Joanna Gleason doesn't come back anymore. I had forgotten that this was the end of the road for her, and it sounds like it's not because she didn't want to. It's just that the management changed, and nobody thought to bring her back. Mm-hmm. None of the cast members could have said, "Hey, didn't Leo have a girlfriend?
Remember her?"
Because I don't think it's like he moves on to somebody else. I think you could well imagine that they're just courting off screen,
off behind the scenes. Yeah.
I wonder if she can. I would have thought she would have at least maybe come back for. Well, this is spoilering way in the future, but the funeral scene. For Leo, but maybe by that time she was pretty well forgotten by anybody who would have been rounding folks up. But that would have been a nice touch. That a ton of people got like the camera pan,
right?
So you could go, "Wow, they got all those people back."
Yeah.
But anyway, so I will miss her. I liked her, even though the whole plot line of her and Leo is rife with this sort of. Do we feel comfortable with Leo flirting with her under these circumstances? Or really, in the workplace, especially since she was always trying to be businesslike. And yet, it's Leo. Come on. He's adorable.
Well, and she's not exactly. I mean, I feel like if she didn't want...
She's not an intern.
I think she could have shut it down. Mm-hmm. You know? I feel like, number one, she's the kind of person who could do that. And number two, that Leo would have accepted it.
Right.
One hopes.
That would be a very different show.
Yeah.
So that was a fun episode. I enjoyed that. I remembered these two pretty well. I don't remember the ones that come next all that well until we get to the end of the season. But the podcast I thought was good. I was glad to have that back and hear the stories and hear her talk about her time on the show. It was fun. And I had no idea she was married to Chris Sarandon. I usually know those things.
Either. Yeah. Same here.
Who knew? So that was fun. So moving on to our challenge round this week, we watched the movie Waitress, which neither of us had seen, and did so in preparation for you going to see the musical of Waitress so that you had an excuse to watch it beforehand. So I thought that I had watched this, and I think it might be one of those things where, you're flipping around and you see something on cable and you watch like 20 minutes of the middle of it. Because I felt like there were parts of it that I'd seen, but I don't think I ever saw the whole thing. Maybe I just read about it somewhere. I do that too, as I read, plot descriptions of things that I think I'll probably never get around to seeing. So you have now seen the musical also, right?
Right.
So tell me what you think. Give your analysis of how did you like the movie and how did it compare to the musical and which did you like better?
They were extremely similar, I have to say, with the exception, of course, of songs.
Yes. I was listening to the soundtrack and I could see the movie beats in it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of dialogue that is word for word.
Yeah.
In both. And, it's just that sometimes they break into song as is something that happens in musicals.
Pretty good songs, I thought.
Yeah. I liked the music. I liked the show overall. I think I maybe liked it a little bit better as a musical just because of the sort of not corny, but like the plot that is very. It's like insulting to say it's cliche. It's not cliche, but I don't know. Like, I mean, you knew that. what happens in the movie is that the waitress of the title is also a baker, and she's great at making pies, and you find out that she learned it from her mother. There's actually a little bit more backstory on the mother in the musical, just a tiny bit, but it shows that the mother was abused also by the father and or somebody. I guess it doesn't say for sure who it is. And also there's a little part in the movie or in the musical where Jenna's husband, the horrible husband Earl, says something like, I was the only one who was there for you when your mother died, or something like
that would be useful. I think. And I know the one song that he sings, I thought also gave some good backstory kind of to their relationship, which I kind of missed in the movie. Yeah, in the movie, he's even, he's worse. He's just, there's nothing redeeming about him. Yeah, except that I felt like he was a horrible jerk and he always felt dangerous. But then they sort of kept pulling back from that. And so if he's just kind of a pathetic jerk, it makes it less, I think if you had the whole history of abuse in her family and him using that and stuff like that, that makes it more, the fact that kind of at the end, he just goes away. Yeah. Well, and also if he's just going to go away, then he wasn't that scary. Right. Well, and in the musical, one thing I appreciated was that in the hospital, so in both iterations, she becomes pregnant. She's really sort of ambivalent, or not even less than ambivalent about having a baby, which, no surprise there because she's got this awful husband who is the father of the baby. And then as soon as she gives birth, she's like, oh yeah, new plan, right. Like, we're getting divorced. You're out of here. And that's that. And she just like makes up her mind in a second, as soon as she sees the baby. And then in the movie, she tells him, and he sort of starts talking back. And then her doctor, who's also the one she's been having an affair with, helps like drag him out of the room. But in the musical, he didn't really do that. Like Earl pretty much stalked off, like he left of his own accord. Yeah. And I, like you said, that, then he's less scary. But also I appreciated that he did it because of what Jenna said, not because the other guy got involved. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It seemed easy. Yes. Because, it's still his kid. So he still has a legal he doesn't fight for the kid claim any way. And, he doesn't seem like he's been the guy who's just going to say, oh, okay, honey, if you feel that way, I'm out of here. He's been very, very controlling. And then also he's like, wait a minute. Yeah. It just kind of took the wind out of those sails. Not that I wanted to see a long, protracted custody battle or abuse trial or anything, but, somebody could have said, hey, Jenna, glad you got out of all that. Glad he's finally in jail or something like that. Yeah, exactly. It just was like... in the musical also, the final scene, the final song is like that flash forward to, a few years later when Jenna has her own pie shop and her little girl is there. And all the people in the pie shop are like, godparents to the little girl and everybody. And it's very, super upbeat, happy song at the end. And in the musical, the little girl is a little bit older. Yeah. So that makes it, I think, a little more believable. Right. She's like 4 instead of 2 or something. Yeah. So it does kind of come across as slightly more realistic that way because, by then it could have been like, okay, they've dealt with Earl and she's moved on with her life. Yeah, so. I don't know. It was, I really enjoyed it. I liked it, but I found some things about it problematic.
Yeah.
I really liked the fact that she ended up with neither man, because the doctor was also extremely problematic because if he hadn't been married, it would have been different. But Nathan Fillion is adorable, and I loved the character and his performance and everything. But you can't end up with him.
Yeah, exactly.
It was clear. So she saw the little girl, and she and the little girl ended up together. But and the character, the other waitress's boyfriend and then husband,
Ogie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did he come off as scary? Because he didn't seem, I guess we're supposed to decide that he was okay because he's there at the end with, it looks like they have a bunch of kids.
Right.
So
there is a little moment. They did add just a very brief little moment, but that helped a lot. When he comes back, he comes to the diner the day after they've had their date or whatever, and he's all into he's like, basically, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And it's scary because she's
stalkery,
like, I want you to go away, and he's like, no, not doing it. But anyway, he has a whole song called Never Ever Getting Rid of Me. Yeah. Which is actually very, very funny. And he dances, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But there's a part where they find out that they're both into Revolutionary War reenactments or something. And so they have a connection. Yeah. And
that would have been helpful.
Yes, it did.
I couldn't even tell from her performance whether the character was supposed to be, even at the wedding, she seemed like,
yes,
she looked a little freaked out.
Doubtful.
And that's not fun then, it's like,
right.
That's worrisome. Are we supposed to be afraid
they
for
handled
her?
That a tiny bit better in the musical.
I think possibly you can get away with that stuff in a musical a little better than a movie.
Yeah, I think that's why I slightly preferred the musical.
Yeah, it seemed like
because of stuff like that.
Yes, and loved Andy Griffith in it. How adorable! And I mean, I knew maybe part of something that I saw it. I knew that he at the end gives her some money, but even if I hadn't, I think you can tell all the way through that he's kind of wants to help her out and will do well by her.
And for some reason in the musical, he actually gives her the diner. He doesn't just
that's
give
what
her,
I thought, actually.
He doesn't give her money.
Yeah.
He bequeaths her the actual
Yeah, because wasn't the place at the end that she has set up as Lulu's Pies, isn't that the same place? Because they show the pole with all the writing on it. So,
same place.
That's I thought there was going to be another mention of, in addition to giving her money, he gave her the place or something like that, but that was never...
Yeah, no, he gave her...
Some things didn't quite follow through the way I expected them to.
But I enjoyed the musical quite a bit. The music was good, and they had... The way they staged it was they actually had a little band up on stage in the diner, basically. Kind of in the corner, but as if they were playing music in the diner. I mean, it's not like the characters really acknowledge, like, hey, I love your live music at this diner. Which, by the way, Pie Diner, is that a thing?
Because I don't know.
I've never heard of that before.
Can I go to one?
The movie, I forget if they did this in the show, the stage show, but I think in the movie, there's a part where the doctor's like, when I was a kid, there was this Pie Diner down the street, and I used to go there all the time.
Yeah. Well, they do. I know there's a song where he's talking about the waitress that he used to know. And that's from that same conversation, but I don't think he mentions that it's the same kind of diner.
Right.
Maybe he does. It says that she made pies, but I don't know. I guess maybe in the South it's a thing.
I don't know.
But, boy, how beautiful was Kerry Russell in this thing. She just glowed. Even when things were hard, she really carried the whole thing. Yeah, very nice.
And the woman the woman who played Dawn is the writer.
Yes, Adrienne Shelley, who tragically died was murdered.
Yeah.
Which made the whole stalker boyfriend thing a little more uncomfortable, although that was not the circumstance of her death. Still, it's, you know, with that kind of in mind, it's like, So, yeah, that's a really sad thing. She's very good in it, and Cheryl Hines is good. Yeah, I really liked all the performances, even Crazy Stalker guy. I like that actor. I remember him from Ocean's 11 and probably
the
ones after that.
husband or
the boyfriend,
Earl or Ogie.
Well, yeah, Earl I've seen. Jeremy Sisto I've seen in things, so he's been around. But yeah, I mean, everything was very good. Even the like the guy who's always yelling at them. I love that little scene he has when she asks him if he's happy, and he says, "Happy enough." He says, "I don't expect much. I don't give much. I don't get much. It's, you know, that's where I'm at. Happy enough." Right. That is a good philosophy, actually, if one could do that. But so enjoyed the movie. Imagine that it would be better as a musical. I think I can see. I
enjoyed it quite a bit.
See where that would work out very nicely, and the songs that I listened to seemed to convey the same information.
Yeah, and also there was pie at the theater.
Oh, was there? Was there like theme pies or just?
Well, the way it worked was before the show, they had a contest and they picked a recipe. And then they sold these little tiny pies in mason jars. Basically, it was like a crumble kind of thing, you know. And you could pre-order, and when you got to the theater, you could pick up your little tiny pie.
Wow. So did you do that?
Yeah.
And did you eat it? Was it good?
Oh, yeah. It was good. Oh, yeah. As soon as I got the email that said, like, ticket holders can pre-order, I was like, yep, I need a pie.
I think you should be able to. I think you should be able to sit there in the audience and eat your pie.
You could.
The people on stage, yeah? Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. As the people on stage eat theirs.
They allowed you to bring them in. They allowed you to bring them in.
That is a wonderful thing. I like that idea. I approve. Because watching the movie made me want to eat pie.
Oh, for sure.
And knowing that any pie I have access to would be nowhere near as good as Jenna's pies. Very beautiful pie filming there. Pie cinematography, A+.
Yes, absolutely.
They all looked absolutely luscious. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for suggesting that. And I was interested to hear how the musical was, too, because I've been hearing a lot about it. Next week for our challenge, since you have inexplicably not yet seen Moana, and you will be going to Hawaii and will have had to seen it by then, we decided that we would sneak it in for this challenge right here. Go watch the thing already. Lin-Manuel Miranda songs. What is wrong with you? How did you not see it when it first came out like I did? It was like one of the few movies I see when it first came out, but I had to go see that. So I enjoyed it, and it's been so long since I've seen it. I will look forward to watching it again. There were things that I very much liked about it. I will be interested to see if I liked them again. And also, we will be finishing off the first season of The Good Place, since it was only 13 episodes. We were watching episodes 12 and 13, as we discussed before. And the West Wing Season 4, Episode 9, Swiss Diplomacy, about which I remember just the very vaguest outlines of the plot. And that is going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.